Okay, this video is going to show you how to make salt dough. The basic recipe for salt dough is 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of salt, and just enough water to make it into a nice dough. For these purposes, I'm going to use a half cup flour, half cup salt, and the only thing is you just need to keep an equal amount of flour and salt. Okay? I would suggest getting your parents to pre-measure and send your flour and salt in little bags. It makes it a little neater when you're getting to the measuring part, unless of course you want to do it as part of a math lesson. Okay, first thing you do, add your salt, add your flour, and like I said, it can be a full cup or it can be a half cup, like I did today. Stir it up just a little bit, just to mix them in. Then take water. I'm probably going to start with about 1/4 of a cup. Mix it up. What you want to do is you want to end up with a nice, soft dough. It doesn't stick to the sides of the container and doesn't stick to your hands too awful much. At this point, some people, if they're doing a mold, they're going to press it into a mold, will actually add a teaspoon of cooking oil. I didn't do that because I'm not going to press it into a mold. You could also add food coloring if you wanted to at this point, depending on what you're going to use it for. See how it's starting to stick? It just sticks to itself. Come right off the spoon. At this point, it's a nice dough. Take it out of your bowl. Maybe work with it a little more just to smooth it out some. I'm going to roll mine out, so I will put just a little bit of flour. And if you have your parents pre-measure it, I would have an extra bag of flour on hand, because you're going to have kids that dump in way too much water, and you're going to have to thicken it up a little bit. Now for the project I'm doing today, or that I did, I'm going to use cookie cutter West Virginia shape. I put it in just a little bit of flour, press it down on there. Your dough needs to be about 1/4 inch thick. Go ahead and pull the dough off the outside edge of it. Take it off. You have a nicely formed West Virginia shape. Sometimes it's a little tricky getting it up, but as you can see, it forms a nice little shape. Now, I have already done some. It's going to take about a week for it to dry. This is one I just did. This is one that's set for a week. Put a little hole in it if you like to, if they want to hang it in a window or as an ornament. After it dries, it's going to take probably a week. Then the students can paint it. After the paint dries, which doesn't take very long, you can seal it with some Mod Podge or polyurethane spray-on, or just Elmer's glue. White school glue will work to seal it. Anything that will seal it in. Now, if you want to try something a little different, you can take, and something a little larger, you can take, just print off a West Virginia shape. I believe I found this one on the governor's website. And you can take the same salt dough that you worked with, and just take it and kind of pat it out like so, and you can use it to form your own West Virginia shape. It'll be a little bit larger, a little easier to work with, especially if you're doing something like you want to work on the regions, or you want to paint in maybe some rivers, put the capital in there, things like that, or just whatever you're focusing on. And you could do this with any state. It doesn't have to be West Virginia. If the students perhaps were doing different states around the country, they could do the same thing. And as you can see, it doesn't have to be perfect, just close enough. Now this one will probably take a little longer to dry because it's a little larger. I would plan on doing this early one week and maybe plan the following Friday, so we have almost 2 full weeks to dry. See, now we have a nice representation of West Virginia, and students can paint maybe regions, they can paint the capital, they can paint some rivers. It doesn't matter if it's lumpy and bumpy, because we're a mountainous state and our whole state has lumps and bumps all over it. And you could even, if they're a little older student, get them to put in maybe some of the mountain ranges up through here. However you want to do it. But that's just one more idea to use the salt dough recipe.